Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with here today with an article from Breitbart. This is dated August 14th, and I saw this and this just pisses me off, and it seems like nobody really wants to talk about this, at least on the left, because, well, it makes their Lord and Savior Joe Biden and their new Lord and Savior Kamala Harris look like complete idiots. And the title of the article is China and Iran send diplomats to Taliban victory parade at former U.S. base. And what got me triggered, I guess if you will, was seeing the video footage of the Taliban parading around with all of our equipment that we left there because Joe Biden decided, no, we're just going to leave. And then, 13 of our warriors got killed because of his stupidity. So let's just go into the article. It says, the Taliban terrorist organization celebrated the third anniversary of President Joe Biden facilitating its return to power in Afghanistan on Wednesday, hosting a large military parade on the former U.S. Air Base site at Bagram, featuring U.S.-made equipment and welcoming envoys from Iran and China, because, of course, those two countries were going to send people there. This August 15th will mark 3 years since the fundamentalist Taliban terror group stormed Kabul, the nation's capital, while then President Ashraf Ghani fled in a helicopter. The Afghan military had collapsed by then, leading to a nearly bloodless takeover of the government for the Taliban. The Taliban remains at press time the uncontested government of Afghanistan, though no country recognizes it as such in an official capacity. So the fall of Kabul was preceded by Biden announcing that he would break an agreement with the United States and his 20th year president in the Afghan war theater with the Taliban to leave the country by May 1st, 2021, in exchange for the Taliban not attacking Americans and cutting ties with terrorist organizations such as Al-Qaeda. Biden replacing the deal, brokered by predecessor Donald Trump, with an extension of the war into September 2021 that never happened, as the Taliban had disintegrated the official Afghan government by then. So once again, good job, Joe Biden, on your foreign policy. I've heard people say that he is the worst foreign policy president in decades, and everything he does seems to confirm that, not just this here, but the stuff going on with Iran as well. Says the Taliban so swiftly dismantling the Afghan government resulted in a haphazard and deadly exit for American troops from the country that left the jihadists possessing millions of dollars of American equipment, some of it on display at the former Bagram Air Base on Wednesday. So the Taliban's armed forces towed Soviet-era tanks and artillery pieces through the former U.S. Air Base in Bagram, where Chinese and Iranian diplomats were also present, the Turkish outlet Daily Sabah, citing international agencies, reported. A swarm of motorbikes strapped with yellow jerry cans, often used to carry improvised explosive devices or IEDs, during the fight against international forces, also rumbled past assembled officials. This is the video, basically, is... there's just a noise because it's like, oh, look, they're using all of our stuff now. And if anybody was to try to go in there and be like, no, we still need to go back and get these guys, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do when they're using our equipment. So good luck with that. They're just stuck with it. And I guess maybe in 40 or 50 years when it's outdated, we can get revenge, but I doubt that's going to happen. Wishful thinking, I know. Says the outlet also identified U.S.-made personnel carriers being driven in the parade. A report published in February 2023 by the Office of the U.S. Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, or SIGAR, found that Biden left at least $7.2 billion worth of military equipment to the Taliban. So good job, Joe Biden. Another reason why you're completely useless. Says the Biden administration surrendered Bagram shortly before the fall of Kabul, replete with the supplies abandoned there and a population of jihadist inmates estimated to total about 5,000 men. One of those prisoners was later identified as the suicide bomber responsible for the massacre of 170 Afghans and 13 U.S. service members at Kabul's International Airport on August 26, 2021. So from the time I'm recording that, that's just about 3 years ago, and from the time it's going to be posted as well. So yeah, again, good job, Joe Biden, at getting our warriors massacred. So according to the Agence France Presse, so obviously it's a French thing, or the AFP, the Taliban made the parade an international occasion by inviting unnamed Chinese and Iranian diplomats. While neither country officially recognizes the Taliban as a government entity, both maintain friendly ties to the Taliban. China became the first country to accept a Taliban ambassador to Beijing in December. It says China's state-run CGTN network, aren't like all their programs that are state-run? I mean, I kind of feel like maybe that doesn't need to be mentioned because they are just maybe mentioning it for people that wouldn't know the way China's run. But anyway, I digress. So China's state-run CGTN network covered the Taliban celebrations in Afghanistan favorably on Tuesday, publishing videos of parades, what appeared to be youth athletic fairs, and a paratrooper display. Yeah, because, got to celebrate those guys, but it is China, and they're not on our side, so naturally that's what they're going to do. About to cough. Not cutting that out. Says the Bagram parade featured a speech by yeah, I'm going to butcher this name, Sirajuddin Haqqani, a New York Times published terrorist who serves as the interior minister with bunny ears around it of the Taliban government. And of course, he appeared in the New York Times because the New York Times is very terrorist friendly. So good job, New York Times. It says, my message to the international community is that there is no need for dismay over the fact that you took our independence, and we reclaimed it successfully, Haqqani claimed. We do not want to hold anyone accountable. We have created favorable circumstances and have good intentions for them to cooperate with us in rebuilding Afghanistan, similar to how they helped during the occupation. All right, so how much do you want to bet they're not going to rebuild a damn thing? Okay, I guarantee you Afghanistan's going to look the same way it did in 20 more years than it did in that does right now from the time I'm recording this. So come back to this video in 2 decades and let me know how that went for you. His official Taliban propaganda omitted the tone of reconciliation that Haqqani used in his address, openly celebrating jihad against America. It says, to achieve this day, our mujahideen, or holy warriors, and people underwent many hardships and difficulties, and as a result of jihad, struggle, patience, and perseverance. An official Taliban statement published on social media by top spokesman, again, another name I'm going to probably butcher, Zabihullah Mujahid, read, says, the great aggressive forces of the time were defeated and our jihadi struggle was victorious. Well, he's unfortunately not wrong. Says, the 20-year infidel occupation and the martyrdom of our and sacrifices of our people against it left a great lesson for our future generations that should never be forgotten. The statement continued, as we commit to the Islamic system, which has been achieved through the great efforts of Afghans and in the shadow of which the ruling region of Allah, or religion, says the ruling religion of Allah and Sharia, or Islamic law, have been implemented. Yes, and it's worked out so well for you, hasn't it? And all the people there, they have so much freedom. Says the Kabul Times, a Taliban propaganda newspaper, also honored the Mujahid nation and the heroes of Afghanistan for killing Americans and NATO allies. Excuse me, coughing, not cutting that out again. Says during the 20 years that the country was occupied by the U.S. and NATO, the Mujahid, that is how you, okay, I just had to take another stab at the word there. The Mujahid nation and the heroes of Afghanistan did not sit aside for a moment as they started jihad and resistance against the invaders, the newspaper claimed. As the Kabul Times went on to bafflingly, there we go, claim that the Taliban had ended all ethnic, regional, racial, or religious discrimination in the country. I'm going to press X to doubt on that, but okay, but again, they are a propaganda newspaper, so naturally that's what they're going to say. As his Taliban chief Mullah Mohammed Hassan Akhund separately issued a statement telling Afghans that their duty did not end with the victory in jihad, as we now have the responsibility to strengthen the regime, rebuild the country, protect the people's property and honor, and compensate for the damages caused by previous wars, he mandated. Again, I don't think any of that's going to happen. Rebuild the country, they probably would just mean as a jihadist state or Sharia law state, which is extraordinarily repressive. Protect people's property and honor. Yeah, they're an authoritarian, they're basically a fascist state, like an ethno-fascist state. I doubt that's going to happen. A religious or theocratic fascist state is what I'm looking for. I doubt that's going to happen, and compensate for the damages caused by previous, whatever. Yeah, it's all propaganda from them because that's what they are. They are the bad guys. So there we go. So does this piss you off as much as it pissed me off? Not necessarily the Taliban saying their things, but watching like a video like this where they're all driving and flying our equipment because Joe Biden just decided, no, we're just going to leave and, whatever. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.